Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or good day, wherever you are. It is so good to be here once again talking about stories, the importance of knowing someone's story. That's how you make connections through their stories. And trust me, we all have stories. You might not think that you have a story. You might not think that your story is important. But I was just at home in my hometown, and my grandbabies were asking me, Grandmother, tell me about my dad. Tell me about my dad when he was growing up. And so my son has told them selected things. They want to hear it from somebody else's perspective. They want to know the entire story. So I have an obligation to tell them that story because all stories matter. And it's when we know people's stories that we can appreciate them. We can appreciate ourselves. We can appreciate differences. We can appreciate similarities. And we see that we have so much more in common than we have differences. So, another episode of All Stories Matter. I am Marvinetta Woodley Penn. If I said that, I'm going to say it again because I like who I am and I like my story. I was just thinking the other day, I need to tell my story because I've been interviewing so many people and I've yet to tell my story one day. So you got something to look forward to. But today, I have the honor of hearing the story of the Vice Mayor of Kalamazoo, of the published author of the Hall of Fame lady, of the Lady of the Hour, Miss Jeanne Hess. How are you, Jeanne?
I'm wonderfully well, Marvinetta. How are you?
Wonderful. I am so happy. I emailed you and I didn't get a response. And I know she's very busy. I know you're very busy, but I did get a little nervous. So when I walked in and I didn't see you here, I was like, oh gosh, is she coming? And then I turned the corner and there you were. So
I was there making myself at home here at Public Media Network.
I know because this is home. That's one thing I love
It
about
is.
Kalamazoo.
Public.
It's small enough so that you know a little here, you know some here, you know some there. And this space, Public Media Network, is a jewel.
It's where we connect.
It's where we connect. It is an essential part of our community. And so, guys, I need you to make a donation. I need you to click that QR code someplace on this video and make a donation to Public Media Network so that I can keep telling stories, if nothing else. So, Jeanne.
Absolutely. Join me in donating. Join me in donating.
Indeed,
Thank
indeed.
you.
I'm an annual donor, and everybody else should be. It is when we give, that we receive. But we don't just give to receive, we give because it feels so doggone good to support something bigger than ourselves, to be a part of history. Oh, yes.
Yes. So let's all channel our inner philanthropist and reach down and find the joy in there, Marvinetta.
Yes. I have a mentoring no, I don't have the mentoring program. I'm a part of Rotary Club of Kalamazoo,
Oh,
and
great.
we have the Strive program at which is a mentoring program at Loy Norrix.
Nice.
My mentee was selected to go for a 10-month foreign exchange to Argentina.
Oh,
She filled out the application. I saw it. I'm like, you've got to do this. You've got to do this. I love travel. You're going to go traveling.
absolutely.
And her mom was like, I don't think so. I don't think I want my baby to go. She was like, Mom. I'm like, Mom, you do not want her to 10 years from now say,
I wish
I
I had.
could have had this opportunity, but my mother, stop. The mother is so supportive now. She's going for 10 months to Argentina.
That is so fantastic.
Yes.
Study abroad is amazing.
Isn't it?
Having been at Kalamazoo College for all those years, watching the students that I knew and my players at Kalamazoo College, knowing them before they left, and then seeing them when they come back, it's night and day. It is, you have lived in another culture, you have spoken their language, you have done something that you didn't think that you could do, and your confidence, your experience, your joy is just multiplied. And it's an experience that you never thought you could have. So absolutely, study
Yeah.
abroad, study away, absolutely.
Yeah. I had Global Girls in Chicago, and for 25 years, performing arts organization. And I would have the girls talk about their stories and what was going on with them. And then we take those issues and put them on stage.
Oh,
And then I started taking them traveling. So we went to Ghana and Kenya and India, Grenada. And those girls are still traveling
absolutely.
as women. They know travel, they know. And when we go, I says, hey, we listen. We're not American. We are human beings here right now.
Absolutely.
And whatever they do, we do.
Absolutely. As a coach at Kalamazoo College, because Kalamazoo has such a robust study abroad program
Yes.
for all their students,
That's
as the
awesome.
coach, I believed that my girls should experience volleyball in other cultures, and that we should have a study abroad program for volleyball.
Yeah.
So the NCAA allowed us to go every 3 years. So starting in 2009, we went to Shanghai and Beijing. Then we went to Costa Rica in 2012. We went to Trinidad and Tobago in 2015, and then in 2018, my last year with the team, we went to South Africa, Cape Town. Those were trips of a lifetime for me. It was wonderful.
Yes, yes. And to be able, because I travel a lot by myself internationally, but to travel with young people and seeing their eyes light up and they get it.
They get
The
it.
connections that they make with other people.
And the kindnesses that we felt, and the beauty that we saw in these other it's just simply amazing. So I was happy to be able to do that as a coach.
So back it up. Tell me, rewind. I want to know about your childhood. Tell me about, I know you grew up in, why do I want to say Plymouth?
Plymouth, Michigan.
Plymouth, Michigan. See, I'm not from Michigan,
Here.
so
Yeah.
this means, and everybody does it. I don't know if it's this way or that way, but
We're here,
Okay.
Marvinette. We're here.
okay. Kalamazoo is here,
Kalamazoo's here.
and Plymouth is,
Plymouth is over on the other side.
okay.
Just east of Detroit, just west of Detroit.
Okay,
I was born in Detroit
okay.
at Henry Ford Hospital. And my father always worked in Detroit, and my parents had moved to Plymouth when they started the family, and I and my two brothers grew up in Plymouth. I was a tomboy at a time. I was born at a time when girls didn't play sports. And I was born an athlete, but girls didn't play sports. And so I would run and jump and play, and played with my brother, played baseball, played football. I wanted to play hockey.
Oh,
But then
wow.
my dad would always freeze the rink in our backyard, and I would put on my skates and I would figure skate, and I dreamed that I was Dorothy Hamill, and there was still not an opportunity right then yet. In 1972, Richard Nixon signed Title IX, which allowed women to be considered equal to men. It still hasn't come to full fruition.
Indeed, but it gave
it
opportunities for
allowed-
schools to have
Right, girls and women,
girls' sports programs.
opportunities for any federally funded entity. So as I was entering high school in 1972, they added girls' sports, so I played volleyball and ran track. And in 1972, the Plymouth Cultural Center opened, which was an indoor ice rink, which had.
Ooh.
So I was able to actually figure skate, and for 4 years, and take lessons and learn, and yes. And so I was a figure skater, ran track, and played volleyball at Plymouth Salem High School. And then matriculated I applied to Michigan and to Western, and chose Michigan. And I matriculated in Michigan, and my mom, before classes began, called and she said, "Did you know that if you play a sport at the University of Michigan, you can get a scholarship your junior year?" I'm like, "Mom, what sport am I supposed to play? You know, because this was before all there were not even volleyball camps. It was like I played for fun in high
For
school.
fun, yeah.
I played for fun in high
Yeah.
school. And what sport? Because I thought I was better at track, and that I thought, but she said, well, I've been called around, and volleyball
What a mother.
she was a great mother. And she said, volleyball tryouts are here on this day, you go be there.
Because I was going to ask you, so what does your mom think about you being into sports
Well,
and not
she was
being this little girl?
My mom was as unathletic as they come.
Me.
She would break out in a sweat she would break out if she ever broke out in a sweat. So she was allergic to exercise.
Oh.
That's what she would tell us. But she was not an athlete. And so, but the cool thing about her as a mother is that she recognized me
Oh,
and who I was, and
yes,
she honored that.
Yes.
And she said to me, like, you go, you be at these tryouts.
Mm,
And I will
yes,
tell
yes.
you that had I not done that, I am not sitting here today. I was on the third varsity team at Michigan. So, like, again, because of Title IX, they had to add these women's sports
yes,
teams.
Yes.
And I was on the third team in 1976, 77, 78, 79. So those 4 formative teams.
Yes.
And my coach was from China. And yes, there is a contact between me taking my team to China and me having him for a coach. But he had an amazing effect on my life.
I'm sure.
He was
my
the
gosh.
best coach that I could have had at the time. While I could see huge inequities still, and there still are, but it's getting better. Women's sports are evolving, and it's really wonderful, and I love that.
Mhm.
But Sandy said, his name was Sandy Vong, he saw me run, and he saw me jump, and he's like, you're an athlete, and so you stay on my team, and I can teach you how to play volleyball. I knew how to play volleyball, but I didn't know volleyball. Right?
Yes, yes. But you had the basics. You had the natural talent.
And I did.
My mother did the same for me. My mother looked into me as well as at me. So when you said that, it just hit me and made me think about my own mother, my own experience. And that's
know.
what I tried to do for the kids, young people I worked with, was to look into them as well as at them.
Absolutely. Who are you? And that's my other book.
Yes.
Is not this one, but it's like, who are you and what are you here for?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gift my mom gave me, because she gave birth to me, but she also birthed my athletic career.
Yes.
And unfortunately, she unbirthed my medical career. I was at Michigan. I was supposed to study to go to medical school. I wanted to be a doctor. And that didn't happen because I really ended up studying volleyball. I put my life into this team. I put my life into studying. I studied exercise science, which was huge at Michigan. And,
Yes.
And a great education. I loved my time there. But that allowed me to be in a gym the year after I graduated where I met my husband.
See, it's all
Right?
connected.
It
yeah,
all came
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Who then proceeded to get a job as the women's basketball coach at Western Michigan University. So we came from Ann Arbor to Kalamazoo in 1982. And like, again, not sitting here without having met him. I'm not meeting him without having met Sandy.
Yeah.
I'm not meeting Sandy without my mom giving me that gentle little shove. And
Mhm.
and
I wrote that down because you said that gentle shoves. You mentioned that in one of your interviews, the importance of gentle shoves,
It
whether they
is.
come from people or
An invitation.
energies or voices. That's how I interpret it.
It
You
is.
get little nudges from the universe that says, go here, do that.
And
Yeah.
we need to listen to those gentle shoves. What they are. And you gave me one the other day when we were coming out of the Douglas Center, and you said, I talk about joy. And I'm like, I wrote a book about joy.
No.
And then, so, I'm just so grateful to be here.
Yeah.
And to tell it, because it is a story of joy, you know?
Now, did you have I don't want to leave the childhood yet.
Oh, okay.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I had an older and a younger brother. I was the only girl in my family, and middle child, and all the classic middle child stuff. And yeah, both of them went to Michigan State. So
Did one of them become a doctor?
no.
Okay.
No. Nobody, no doctors in the family. However, when I started doing my book and talking about words that we use in sport, the word doctor came to me because doctor in the Greek actually means teacher. And so, as I became a teacher and a professor at Kalamazoo College, I'm like, okay, I'm a doctor. So I thought all along, okay, as you think, so shall you be. As you think, so shall you be. Think of a teacher, think of a doctor, be a doctor. And it's just a different kind of doctor.
And approach teaching as a doctor,
Absolutely.
knowing that you're in the healing business.
As a healer,
Oh.
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to, and I'm trying to get into. I am a performer.
Yes, I can tell.
That's what I.
Yes.
That's what I love. I love being on stage.
It
I love
exudes.
singing and dancing and acting and talking and all. And my mother saw that in me, and she says, "You belong on the stage. You have a voice.
Yeah.
God gave you a voice. You have to use it."
You have to use it.
And yeah, so mothers, look at the camera and say this, mothers, I know you're busy. I know we're all busy, but look into your children. Just take 5 minutes to just sit back and notice them. Put the cell phone down, put the game down, and just put some paper in front of your child. Put a book in front of your child. Just let them play. Put a cardboard box. See what they gravitate toward, what lights up their eyes. Because when you said I wanted to be a doctor, you said, but I studied volleyball. Your eyes lit up when you said volleyball.
Yeah.
They didn't light up when you said doctor.
No.
So not the medical doctor that we think about,
Yeah.
but the teaching doctor, yes. So you had your family. Sounds like a wonderful family.
Yeah, wonderful family.
Getting that solid
Leave
foundation.
It to Beaver, kind of,
Yeah.
in the 60s, 50s and 60s, and where we didn't have that technology, the disruptive technology, and it was a different time.
Yeah, very
It
different.
was a very different time. And yeah, I had a set of grandparents that lived in Highland Park, so in Detroit.
Yeah.
And so I got to know the city. And then I had my grandma, my other grandpa had passed, but my grandma lived on a lake in Brighton, Michigan. So we had grandma at the lake and grandma in Detroit, and they were very different. And they showed me two very different worlds. Yeah. And they were educators. And so when you talk about this doctor, this teacher, one of the words I talk about in my book is education. And a mother is the first educator. Give your child something to do or see what they do naturally, and then help to draw that forth from them. Give them lessons. Give them opportunities. Talk to their teachers at parent-teacher conferences. Tell them this is who my child is.
Yes.
And those educators then are able to draw forth more from that child.
And knowing that you are invested
Yes.
in that child, they look at your child differently.
Absolutely.
They interact with your child differently. I know you're busy. I'm not saying you've got to be there 24/7. It's nice if you could, but I know you have busy lives. Just a few minutes of going to that school one day at the beginning of the semester, I'm here. I want to know what's going on with my child. Taking time out, making a call, sending an email now.
Absolutely.
Doing a voice chat or a video chat with the teacher. No, when they know you're involved, your child is treated differently.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
having those engaged parents, oh my God. Now, my mother was not as involved as I might have liked, but whenever I performed, she was there. Whenever I performed, my mother was in the first row.
God bless her.
Wonderful. But they could tell by the way I showed up in school, my mother was here because I was,
Yep. Yep. So
Yes.
your parents are your first educators. That is the first people who draw from you who you
Yes.
are. They draw that out, and then you seek out other educators and other, like, you're now one for me. You're one of my finest educators right now. You're drawing forth from me a higher a story out of
Indeed,
me.
indeed. And then offering you these opportunities. Now, I grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois, and it was a wonderful place to grow up. I had a very solid foundation, but I did not
Yes.
have access to the arts the way that people here in Kalamazoo have.
It's one of our strengths.
all of the schools, almost all the schools
One of our
have
strengths.
wonderful arts
Absolutely.
programs, so that when young people leave just their basic education, their K through 9 education, they've got a solid foundation in the arts so that they can go and start auditioning for the Civic, Farmers Alley, the
Yeah.
Barn, all these other places. They can go, and then they can go to Western. Oh my God, Western, what?
What a wonderful program. We are blessed in Kalamazoo
Yes.
to have all
Surround-
of these. Well, even at K, we have a wonderful theater program. And Western and KVCC, all the arts available through KVCC is tremendous.
This building, Arts
This
Council here, the
building.
Wellspring Dance Theater here, another theater
And-
company here. So yes, we've got it, but I said all that to say that because I'm into the arts, I know about the performing
Absolutely.
arts. I didn't know about all of the opportunities that schools offered for sports. So
Incredible.
you're
sports-
saying that your school had this training for ice skating.
No, my
The-
school
no,
didn't.
the
That
Art
was
Center.
individual stuff.
The
cultural
center, the
That-
cultural
that's-
center.
So I had to choose that myself.
Yes, yes.
And pay for that myself. No, the school doesn't. Schools do have teams now, but for skating and things like that. But our
It
school
was
did
the
not.
center.
It was at the center, so I was able to
At
learn
least you
how
had
to
that
figure skate.
center.
Right.
Yeah, you had
I
the
was
center, the
able
community
to learn
center.
how to figure skate
Yeah.
as a child, and
Wonderful.
and so now to have an appreciation for what it really takes to be a great figure skater. If you look at the Olympics, like Elise Liu, right, the American who won the gold medal just a few weeks ago, she had command of her sport. She owned that ice, and she was joy.
Oh.
And that's all that you could see. And she came off, and she was so happy, and she was, because she has a great story. But
Yeah, yeah.
so yes, I was able to play. I was able to play and practice as an athlete at the cusp of it, right? Right at the cusp of Title IX, and to take advantage of that, of Title IX as being able to draw forth my inner athlete, where before it wasn't. That ability was not there fully. I mean, there were teams and there were girls' sports and things like that, but not how they are now.
Yes.
And so to take my Michigan experience in volleyball, to come to Kalamazoo, there was another gentle nudge. Hey, you played volleyball at Michigan. They need a coach at Kalamazoo Central. I'm like, okay, I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
my husband had a job and he was coaching at Western, and so I'm like, okay, I'll go do that. I did that for 2 years, and then there was another gentle nudge that said, you know what? They need a coach at Kalamazoo College. Okay. It was these nudges and just saying yes.
Saying yes.
The ability
Oh.
to say yes to the nudge, where people have said, why don't you try that? Because this seat on Kalamazoo City Commission was a nudge.
Another nudge.
Another nudge.
And you
from,
were just, okay.
okay. It's what there was never a pushback. There was never
Yes.
like you shouldn't do that. Or I don't feel good about that. Yeah, everything I've done in my life, I have felt good about.
Good.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be,
Good.
right here with you.
Oh, yes. Have there been any challenges along the way? Things that you went through and you came out on the other side and you, now I get it. But in the middle of it, it was like, ooh, what is this?
There were some times, right after I graduated from Michigan, I was supposed to be an athletic trainer, like a doctor, kind of, and I was all signed up for my master's classes and so on, and getting my athletic training degree. And I ended up playing volleyball again with the guys club, and tore my anterior cruciate. So at that time, I tore my ACL, and at that time in 1980, they casted from thigh to ankle. And now it's like, you're in surgery the next day, and we're going to get it fixed, and we're going to get you walking.
Yeah.
That 1980, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so I had to move home. My plans were thwarted, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. I had to get through a lot of anger, get through a lot of why me, victimization kind of things. And again, I say it in the book, but I don't get there without having torn my ACL. I'm not here without having torn my ACL and having that pain, that physical pain, that said, well, I say, God said no. It was God's gentle nudge, right? God took my knee and went, and no, you can't go that way. You're going to go this way.
Go this way.
And I found this other time, and so therefore I found my way into another gym where I began coaching.
Okay.
God said, you're coaching. You're not being an athletic trainer. You're going to coach.
You have to reach more people. As a trainer, you might get a couple of people here, a couple of people there. You are reaching many more people as a coach.
I'm so blessed. As a coach, as a professor.
Yes.
My career at Kalamazoo College, my heart is just full right now with that gratitude and for that really painful moment. And that really painful time when I had to move home after having been independent for a while, as a young 20s.
Like, moving home from college, oh my gosh.
No. And so I'm just really grateful for that having happened.
Yeah.
And then we moved here. I found a team to play on, did the other one. And so, again, God was saying,
I told you once.
You better stop playing. You better just stop playing and really focus on this coaching thing. And I wanted to coach to make sure that these women trained well so that they didn't get hurt.
I was going to say, your experience with going through the tears, the healing, the pain, all that you went through with that gave you a better perspective on other players getting injured.
Absolutely. So I could be with them.
Yes.
I understood their pain.
Understood it. And then how can we not do this? How can we avoid this? And how can we get through it?
Right.
Learning some lessons if it does happen. Any kind of injury.
Teaching lessons.
Yes,
absolutely.
Indeed. So I want to get to, I always have to set it up with the foundation of your story, and I'm so glad to have heard that because I thought you had just a perfect life. Nothing ever happened.
Heavens,
but
no.
I'm kidding. But hearing that is important because we all have those, what we think of as setbacks, but they're really setups. And I didn't.
I love that.
No, I got it from somebody else.
Okay.
A setback is simply a setup for something greater.
I love it.
But it's all in how we interpret it. It's the words that we use, because I got that from you. The words are so important. I was talking in our mentoring session this morning, one of the mentors was saying, I have a problem with vulnerability. I was like, listen to the way you're talking to yourself about yourself. I have a problem. I can't open up.
I tell my grandkids, don't say don't, or don't say can't, because that's your words to yourself. And the brain doesn't hear when you say, don't think of slicing a lemon. Is anyone salivating right now? Because you're thinking of putting that lemon in your mouth. And when you say don't, the brain doesn't hear don't.
That's right.
Brain does not hear don't. So that's language was very important to me as a professor, as a coach, as a mom. And so I don't say don't. I say do. I say do this, and don't. If we ever say I can't, you end the sentence with yet.
Yet. Yes.
Can't do that yet. So
Yes.
Bruce Lee said it. Wayne Dyer said it.
Yes.
The Buddha said it.
Yes.
Proverbs 4:23 says it. As you think, so shall you be. It's our thoughts that determine the outcomes of our lives.
That's right.
Right? So you have this thought, and the brain then has to put a word on it. And your belief about that word then determines how you move into and through and then come out the other side of that word. And so I began thinking about those when my team, whom I love, all of them, started kind of saying that we hate this team or we hate that team. And it was very clear to me, I understood it because at the University of Michigan, I learned how to hate. I got a bumper sticker that said, "Oh, how I hate Ohio State." You know, you have this Michigan-Ohio State hate fest, right? And I had to enter everything with hate. And so that contest every year was just like a battle, and it was us versus them, and it was filled with hate. And I'm like, okay, we are entering into these contests with hate, and the outcomes are less than joyful. The outcomes were not happy. And we normally, and we would hate the team because they were so good. You know, they drew forth from us something that wasn't great. And so we didn't rise to the occasion, we sunk into the occasion with the, I hate them, you know, whether they came into our gym or whether, yeah. And so I began to think, and so what I didn't tell you about my story is I took 4 years of Latin in high school and 2 years of Latin at Michigan. So like I have this word etymology, like where do words come from? So this word competition literally means to work with. Here in the U.S. in the West, we have competition as us versus them. We have competition as a very dualistic way of thinking. Us, them, black, white, tall, short. It's all that. So you do this, and when the only way that one can win if you're in a competition, if you're doing this against one another, is to eliminate the other.
Oh.
Right?
All those lower vibrations. Oh my gosh.
All the lower vibrations. You eliminate the other, and it's boom. And so when you think of competition as working with, regardless of the score on the scoreboard or on the wall, that other team or you cannot help another team but rise. Elevate. So working with. We are working with. We do not have a game without you.
Indeed.
You are challenging me to become a better version of myself. And that's what real, true competition is. And I want us to change our thought about competition as us versus them, because it is engendered by hate and fear and a knowledge of the other. It's the other. And so let's change our thought about competition into something good, into something that educates, into something that draws forth our better angels, our better self.
When one team is here, the other team is here, and everybody is being elevated. That's what I love about theater.
Yes.
I can see one lady go out and do her role so well, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is fabulous. I am going to be better when I do my role.
Yes.
But it's a healthy competition, because it's like, I'm respecting you, you are pushing me, and when everybody has that, the play is phenomenal, because everybody is at the top of their game.
And as an audience member, I know when that's happening on the stage. I can feel it.
Yes.
I can feel it. And So there's a story, and I tell a story in the book about being in the largest crowd ever assembled up until then, watching a volleyball match. It was a very exciting volleyball match between Penn State and Nebraska, about 20,000 people there. And it was set 5, 13-13, as exciting as a volleyball game could get.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sitting next to the coach from Gallaudet University, which is the university for the deaf in Washington, D.C., in all of this. We were at a coaches convention. And I'm sitting next to him, and the arena was shaking. It was so exciting. The arena was shaking.
Yes.
The spirit was everywhere. And so I turned to him, and he can read lips, and I knew this. And I said, "Can you hear this?" And he said, "I can feel this. I can feel this." And so to have that feeling, I can feel when the people are performing on the stage with that same spirit, with that same joy of competition, of wanting to be as good or better than somebody else on the stage because they're doing such a great job.
And you're wanting to be the best you can. When you deliver your line, it's like, hey, eyes. When I deliver that line, and then I turn to you and I give you the energy so you can deliver your line, and we can, it's magic. It's magic. So how did you get to the spiritual part?
Oh, that's another piece I left out of my childhood.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic. My mom and dad, my dad was Catholic and my mom was Episcopalian. In those days, were they to be married, they had to marry in the Catholic Church. And in order to do that, they had to promise to raise their children Catholic. So my mom stayed at her Episcopal church. So I went through Catholic catechism. I went through Episcopalian catechism. I had a lot of catechism. I have an aunt, my dear aunt, my dad's sister was a nun. And so had all that, like that high churchy kind of, as a child, going to visit her in the convent was kind of, I still shudder when I think of it, just get goosebumps. Just really the spirit that's there among what they were doing, the deep work that they were doing as sisters. And then as I grew older and she came out from in the convent into real world, being a nun in the real world and serving. She served in the city of Detroit. She served the poor. She served at soup kitchen. She did home church. Like she was a great nun, and was a role model for me.
Yes, yes.
And so my husband also was Catholic. So we married. We came here. We found St. Thomas More, which is a very student. It's the parish for students in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
So because he was at Western and I was at K, it was a natural fit for us to be there. And we had amazing experiences there, drawing forth our spirit life, our religious life. And so there was a point at Kalamazoo College in the year 2000, back at the turn of the century. It's getting longer and longer away.
Indeed. That's when I started Global Girls, but yeah. Yeah.
In 1999 in Kalamazoo, there was a murder-suicide. And it was simply horrible on campus. And it became very clear to the leadership that there needed to be a chaplain kind of figure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we definitely need to do that. I was chair of the campus life committee at the time. And they brought a chaplain from another college in Minnesota to just kind of feel out campus and see what was going on. And she went to our provost and said, "That's your chaplain."
Nudge.
Another little nudge. Another little nudge. And so I'm like,
people see things in you.
So I went to the priest and I went to my pastor and I'm like, I've been asked to do this chaplain work. He goes, well, because as a Catholic, women aren't ordained, right? Yeah. Women don't do that. And And I wasn't ordained as a nun. Had nothing like that. All I did was have my spirituality.
Indeed.
Right?
And your words and your energy.
And so he said, God calls in different ways. And if you say no this time, God will call again, and it might not be as great. So like I said,
The knees, when you tore this one and then you tore another one. Okay.
God said, you will come to me. And so I was a chaplain. I served as an associate chaplain at Stetson Chapel on Kalamazoo's campus from 2000, the fall of 2001 to about 2009. And it was a part-time thing because I was still being chair of the Department of Physical Education and coaching volleyball. And so that was interesting. The first service that I had to prepare was a service for 9/11. We had 9/11. We weren't back in school yet, and I was asked to bring people together, gather the people in the chapel. And so it wasn't just gathering the people, it was gathering all the religious leaders around the town. Let's all get together. Let's all pray in our own way. Let us all find our own way to be able to honor the victims and pray for what's next.
Oh.
So that was how I came to expressing this spirituality here. And so I did that. Again, not having the language at Kalamazoo College, which was not a religious institution. It's very secular. And I needed to find the spiritual words or the words that would have a particular spirit when I was coaching the team so that they would understand. You know, we would play teams like St. Mary's or Calvin College or Hope College who would gather in prayer before and after a game. And it wasn't quite that way at Kalamazoo College. We did not do that. And so thought, what if we use these words? If words that we use in sport that can divide or unite, I wanted to redefine them. So as you think, have them think differently, so they shall be, and have an outcome of joy in having played this game and having been with these women and having been around this college in this experience. And so to get joy out of the game. So I I wrote Sportuality, finding joy in the games. You don't get joy without rethinking why you're doing it. So I went nuts with all of that. I found a beautiful editor. You may or may not know Robert Weir here in town.
Yeah. He wrote the play that I just did with my first play with all ears.
I was there.
Oh, okay.
I was there with the pickleball.
Pickleball,
yes. I was there
and we go to
because-
Unity together.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I told Robert, I said, that is a sportual play. And so it was, and he knew it because he knew this, because I showed him my 3 or 4 pages of things that I had written. He goes, you have a book here. And so Robert was my book whisperer. He would come, we would meet. It took me 3 years to do this. We would meet on a regular basis after I had written, what I could write, and he would say, well, let's look at it this way, let's do these kind of things. The chapters pretty much formed themselves with each word. And then we would create timeouts, I call them, because in volleyball we have timeouts. So timeout, think about this. And then at the end, there's also timeouts, and really asking the reader to reflect on where this word fits in your life. Where does this, how can you rethink things so that you can get greater joy out of these games? Instead of just the hate and the us versus them. So yes, I don't believe we solve our greatest systemic problems by thinking the same way that we've been thinking.
The thoughts that created the problem cannot be the same thoughts that
Albert
solved the
Einstein.
problem.
Albert Einstein.
Indeed. Can you hold that book up and just look right into the camera and show that amazing book, Sportuality, Spirituality. Now, Jean, we have 15 minutes left.
Are you
Only
kidding me?
15 minutes left, and I have so much more I want to talk about. But how can you? I see you on a speaker circuit, going around and having workshops for coaches to change the way, to be a part of the change, because there is a critical mass that is assembling with a new way of thinking
Absolutely.
about how we live, about how we go through this thing called life,
Life.
in these meat suits that
Said
we're
Prince-
wearing.
Said Prince.
Okay.
Welcome
So,
to this thing called life.
life. Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't know I was channeling that, but I take it. I believe that there are more and more people who are on this trajectory,
Yes.
and I think there are opportunities for us to speak because these voices need to be heard at this particular time. Our young people and older people are so into electronics
Yes.
and our profiles. We're more concerned with our profiles, I was telling the young people, than we are with our legacy,
Yes.
than we are with how are we treating the girl next to me, the guy next to me. I'm going to scroll for the worst of the worst instead of looking at the best of the best, and how can I help somebody be their best?
Yes. Isn't it Maya Angelou who said, people will not remember what I said, they will not remember what I did, they will remember how I made them feel.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I will remember how you've made me feel today, Marvinetta.
Oh, I will remember how you made me feel. I mean, there is so much energy, right, going back and forth here.
Yes.
It is like all of the sages, all of the spirits are in the room and saying, you guys have to do something.
Yeah.
It's one thing to write your book, love it. I know it's wonderful. I have a summary of it here. And I had questions I was supposed to ask from the summary, but I think I'm doing it. I just feel that there is still so much here.
There's so much here.
When the teams come together, the guys on in our mentoring program, we met with them this morning, and they play basketball.
Yes.
And one young man's grade point average really went down.
Oh, sweetheart, no.
And from June till January, his grade point average really suffered. So I pulled him aside because I can read.
Yeah.
I read energy
Yes.
when I'm around people.
Yes.
And in the meeting, he just was not there. And I kept saying,
Come
on,
back.
come back,
Come
come
back.
back. Yeah. Be here now. And I says, what's up? After the meeting, he says, basketball. That's all I can think of is basketball. And when they're on the court, they are, and they get in the huddle, coaches are, and I'm like,
Yeah, let me talk to him. I'll talk to him.
how can we get in front of these groups?
Right? I think.
What do you think?
I think coaches people have to choose it. People have to want more.
Mm-hmm.
They have to understand that I'm not feeling the joy. I'm not feeling the love. And then they ask and they reach out and it's there. I spoke to the Portage Rotary last week and someone said, I want you to come and talk to my son's soccer team. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to do
Yes.
that. You know,
Yes.
what are you getting out of this game?
Yes.
Why do you love this game? And each game too, if you really look into it, humans have invented games, because all games are inventions, right? Our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
then we put words on them, and the meaning of those words is either an outcome of joy or one of hate or fear.
Mm-hmm.
But we've made these games, and volleyball is different because there's a net separating the two teams. You don't physically interact with the others, and it's those six people on that side that have to figure out how to get that ball on that side of the net on their floor. You have to just figure that out. It's very simple. Soccer, you have to kind of be physically able to overcome someone's skill. And sometimes skill is better than physicality. And you just have to understand that. And then you have to have a deep understanding of who you are and how much you can get past a fear. When I was coaching, we would take the team over in preseason to the pool, take the team across the street to the pool, and ask them to go up on a 3 meter board. Now, picture yourself standing on a 3 meter board, looking down at a pool. Doesn't matter if you can swim or not, but just that fear, like that feeling. Are you feeling that feeling there, Marvinetta? I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And then jump. And so as we dissected it all afterward, how did you feel? Well, I got this feeling in my stomach and I was so afraid. Okay, that feeling is also the same feeling as excitement. So if you're in the locker room and you get that feeling and you name it as fear, it's going to come out in your outcome. If you name it as excitement,
oh boy,
it's going to come out in your energy, and it's going to come out in a big way. So how do you name that?
That is so good.
How are you going to name it?
Yes.
Right?
How are you going to name it?
So that having them stand up there on that diving board was the only way I could get them to all really get that feeling.
Yes.
Because you can say, oh, you know that feeling in your stomach. You go, yeah, I know what that feeling is, but no, you need to stand up there. And then they all would jump, and some would scream, and some would dive, and it was different how everybody entered the water,
but they all entered.
it was fun, and everybody entered the water. Yeah, yeah. So to teach them how to get beyond their fear, or to rename their fear into desire. Fear, desire. They're two different things. The outcome is different. So
I want this more than I fear it.
yes.
The first time I used to, because I'm a singer also, and I like jazz. Never did musical theater until Kalamazoo, until my first time at the Civic when I did Let It Be, and I was like, oh my God, I really don't like this, but it was really good for me because it helped my voice. But I was a jazz singer, and I would go in Chicago to these jazz sets, and you could sit in. That was the point of the set.
Oh.
Tuesday nights with Von Freeman, the best saxophonist in the entire world. Passed on, blessings to you. But I would go there every Tuesday night to the jazz set, and I would sit and I'd watch these amazing singers, just amazing singers.
Yeah.
And I'd go home every night, drive back to the north side, 45 minutes, and beat myself up all the way. Because I'm like, you're a coward.
'Cause
You're
you wanted
afraid.
to be there.
You did not even try.
You wanted to be
You
there.
did not even try. That was my reason for going, was to sit in and just sing. One night I said, you will either do it or you will die. You
I
will
hope you
feel
did
the
it.
fear. I'm here. So
Feel the fear and do it
do
anyway.
it anyway.
Feel the fear
And
do
I
it
got,
anyway.
he says, anybody else out there? I says, I want to sing. That night I sang, and one of the guys who was there sitting in said, I want you to come and sing with our trio.
I love that. I love that.
And I met
And
my
it's-
musical father then. So a nudge saying, you're not doing this anymore. You're not doing this to yourself anymore. How often do our children have those nudges? And they push because they're so focused on what are people going to think about me if I
I'm
step
not going to
out?
be perfect. I'm
I'm
not
not going to be right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit with. I'm just going to sit, and I'm just going to keep putting layers and fear, layers of fear, layers of fear, layers of fear,
Yes.
till I don't even know
need
what
to
my
get beyond
core
that,
is
right?
anymore.
I
Oh.
wouldn't have run for commission had I had that fear, right? That got that nudge
Yeah.
saying you should run for commission, and then you have to put yourself out in front of the public. You have
Yes.
to be a public figure.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, I'm probably an introvert. I get my energy from being alone, but I can go out in public without fear. But I feel
Because
the
you
fear.
know you've got a message.
I've got a
You've
message.
got a message, and you know it's the
Yeah.
truth. It's the truth. The truth is the truth. It's the truth.
Amen. Sister.
When you lie, you gotta. Ooh, what?
What did I say
But
then?
when
What did
you
I
say the
then?
truth, you can stand on that. And so you've got that. You've got that foundation. Now, not only did you run for commission, but now you're the vice mayor.
I had been.
You have
I
been.
had been.
You had been.
After, in November, I became a regular commissioner again because the new side was elected, and we have a new vice mayor, Drew Duncan. And so I am now just a commissioner, but commissioner.
Commissioner.
Yes. So I was vice mayor for 2 years.
Oh, cool. How was that?
Lovely.
Oh, wonderful.
Lovely.
I've met the mayor. He's awesome.
He's wonderful.
I think he's a wonderful guy. I'm going to get him on my show one day.
He should be on your show.
Yeah.
He has a great story.
I can believe it. Oh my God, I see it in your eyes. The energy is okay. I'm going to get him. I've got to get to this other thing. You're also, you have people go through the transition. Did I get that right?
Oh,
You sit with people as they're going through their transition?
oh, I wish. I don't.
No?
I'm an officiant.
Oh, okay.
I'm an
okay.
officiant, and I
Okay.
help people transition from single life to married life.
Oh, okay, okay. I saw transition.
I have
are-
done. I have performed memorial services. Yes.
Okay, okay.
So I can do that, but
Okay.
I help my parents transition. I've been with my parents when they transition. So
Okay.
what a sacred time to be with somebody at the time of their death, right? But to be able to honor that. But as an officiant, I perform wedding ceremonies, marriage ceremonies,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and funerals, and actually have done some baptisms and naming ceremonies and fun things.
You do so much.
Yeah.
So much for so many people.
Thank you.
Oh,
I love it.
oh.
But it's those nudges, right? It's those
Yeah,
nudges, and
yeah.
it's that sense of I'm just so grateful to be here now,
Yes.
be here now. And I think that's our biggest challenge with our young people, when we're talking about the young people, is to help them be here now and not be worried about the future, not be regretting the past. Right here, right now, this is the only place we have to live our
This
lives.
is it. This
Right
is
now.
it. My children in Global Girls, we always say, "Be here now." I
Absolutely.
taught my grandchildren when they were 3, I think, and they're like, "Be here now."
I can see it.
I have a video. They're like, "Be here now." I'm like, "Okay, you're getting it. You're getting it." You have to plant the seeds.
The what?
Plant the seeds.
Gotta plant the seeds.
Plant the seeds. I
Plant the
just see
seeds.
you. Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
In 20 years?
Because you're going to be around, girl. You're going to be strong. You're
Well,
going to be.
I'll be a wise elder, I think. I want to be a wiser elder. Still moving, still being in community. And again, the book defines community as to have charge up together, in that the word is a verb, that you are not allowed to just sit in community. You have to get out and be in community, regardless of your fear. You know, community will nudge you to where you need to be. And this community of Kalamazoo does that.
Yes, it does.
And that's why I just love it. And people are like, why don't you just retire to Florida? Well, no, no, this is my community.
Yeah.
I was called here. I have found life here. My children were born here. I have grandchildren here. This is my community. And to have charge of it together, I'm going to show up with everything I have and everything I want to give for as long as I live.
And
So,
please, Kalamazoo Public Schools
yes.
needs to invest in this.
Ah,
In this book, and have you presented, because people don't know what they don't know.
right.
But when your eyes are open, you cannot close them again. Once
No.
you see, you cannot unsee.
Right.
So maybe they just have not heard of spirituality in this way. And once they become aware, little bit of time, spoon feeding, we might be able to change. Kalamazoo is the place.
Oh, Kalamazoo is big enough and small enough.
Yeah, where innovations can happen.
We are an early adopter city.
Yeah.
That is what we do. We have a superpower here in Kalamazoo. Let's claim it.
And you know, I said, I'm not going to stay in Kalamazoo, certain things in Chicago. But I went to Chicago Friday for a jazz concert, came back Friday night, I can do Chicago and Kalamazoo. Jean, it has been, oh
Marinetta.
my gosh, is there anything I did not ask you that you wanted to talk about? I know you have another book also.
I have
And
another book. The sports world character, Max. Max ability. Who are you and what are you here for? Because this is another story for another day.
yeah,
The first words Max said to me as a young teen were, "Who are you and what are you here for?" I was recruiting his sister, and he didn't want me recruiting his sister because he didn't want her leaving to go to Kalamazoo from Midland. And so those are the two questions that we wake up with every morning and that we try to answer every day. Who are you? And what are you here for? But Max, it's Max's story because he's got an amazing story. And it's his story, but then it's also my wrestling with those questions. And then at the end, re-answering them other than, I'm Coach Hess, I'm here to watch number 5, please be quiet, right? It's a great story, Max ability. Who are you and what are you here for? Because Max could be described as one with a disability. He is far from it. His whole self has been drawn forth. He is an amazing, amazing soul.
thank you.
So
Thank you. Can you just do a workshop? Can you promise me that you will do a workshop on who are you and what are you here for?
see
Just
what I can do.
a workshop, a 2-hour workshop,
Okay,
someplace.
I'll see what I can do about that, Marinetta.
I'm
appreciate you.
challenging you.
Thank you.
That's a little, no, I'm not challenging you. I'm giving you a little nudge. Thank you so much. The word has got to come out. We've got to, right, folk? Did you enjoy this? I know you did. I had a wonderful time talking with Jeanne Hess. I also saw you elevating at the Wynton Marsalis concert. You were sitting right in front of me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Chenery, Wynton Marsalis Orchestra. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful morning, and please get to know someone else's story and get some courage to tell your story. We die twice. The first time when our physical body leaves, the second time when people stop talking about us. If you tell your story, people will never stop talking about you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.